Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. It's our Sabbath class, the 30th of November, 2024. Okay. Title inside the class is something that I've been talking about a lot. Is those first 18 years that we get when we first born into the time we graduate from high school. It's a mind job, and I was going to show uh, today how they accomplish it. That way you can break yourself out of it. Okay, go into our you can go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos you can look at. These videos can make dots for you and lead you into the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It'll be greatly appreciated. And if you want to support the channel, check out our Cash App that's running across the bottom of the screen. That too will be appreciated. Okay, so with that being said, this is a non-Messianic channel for those that don't know. And by that I mean we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah, don't deal with the New Testament. That's for Gentiles, fabricated. So Tanakh is the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Redeemer and our Savior, the Lord of Hosts. Shalom and welcome to the channel, and welcome to our Sabbath class. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, a Sabbath prayer, Psalms. We have some current events, need to know information. Then we open it up for anybody with questions, comments. And then we go into our topic, which is how they control our subconscious mind. Okay. With that being said, it's a moment of silence for the Lord of Hosts, and all He's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay. Oh Lord, we thank you for your great mercy and your great power and wisdom, and we tarry waiting for your powerful deliverance of your people, Israel. Oh Lord, you have given us insight into the scriptures of our forefathers. You, oh Lord, have directed us to who we are as who you are and your role in the goings on of heaven and earth. We come this Sabbath day, doubtless that you will appear, that you will gather your nation from among these wicked Gentiles. Okay. We are waiting and watching for you, O Lord. Tarry not, for the latter days are here. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that being said, I'll read the Psalms. Okay. I'll read Psalms 86. It's a prayer of David. It says, teach me thy way, O Lord. Bow down thine ear, O Lord. Hear me, for I am poor and needy. Preserve my soul, for I am holy. O thou, my God, save thy servant that trusteth in thee. Be merciful unto me, O Lord, for I cry unto thee daily. Rejoice the soul of thy servant, for unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. For thou, O Lord, art good and ready to forgive, and plenteous in mercy unto all them that call upon thee. Give ear, O Lord, unto my prayer, and attend to the voice of my supplication. In the day of my trouble, I will call upon thee, for thou wilt answer me. Among the gods, there is none like unto thee, O Lord, neither are there any works like unto thy works. All nations whom thou hast made shall come and worship before thee, O Lord, and shall glorify thy name. For thou art great, and does wondrous things. Thou art God alone. Teach me thy way, O Lord, and I will walk in thy truth. Unite my heart to fear thy name. I will praise thee, O Lord, my God, with all my heart, and I will glorify thy name forevermore. For great is thy mercy, toward me, and thou hast delivered my soul from the lowest hell. O God, the proud are risen against me, and the assembles of violent men have sought after my soul, and have not set uh, thee before them. But thou, O Lord, art a God full of compassion and gracious and long suffering and plenteous in mercy and truth. O turn unto me and have mercy upon me, and give thy strength unto thy servant, and save the son of thy handmaid. Show me a token for good, that they which hate me may see it and be ashamed, because thou, Lord, hast helped me and comforted me. Okay, so that was Psalms 86. A couple of things I want to shine a light on. It says in verses 1 through 3, it says, bow down thine ear, O Lord, and hear me. I am poor and needy. It's David talking. Preserve my soul, for I am holy. O thou my God, save thy servant that trusteth in thee. Be merciful unto me, O Lord, for I cry unto thee daily. Now here you go right here, poor. Rejoice, rejoice the soul of thy servant, for unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. So what is he talking about when he says, unto thee do I lift up my soul? Fasting. Like I said, you got, when you understand how the body, how the Creator, the Lord, fashioned the body, you got a flesh. The flesh part of you is the jacket, and then your soul is the body is soul is encased in the body, just like a turtle with a shell. So the soul is what these angels and the Most High are dealing with, not the flesh. He's dealing with the soul. So that's why when you pass away, the soul returns back to heaven where it came from. If it came from heaven, that's where it goes back to. So when you understand that, when you fast, the flesh, the body that's on the soul, it needs, you got five senses, it need water, need food and all that. And it's constantly back and forth with the, you got to level it out or conform it. Where, you know, like he said, you can't eat certain foods like unclean food and all that. Where the soul is balancing all that out. It's things you're supposed to eat that's going to defile you, and things that you can eat that's not going to defile you. Things you do that you're not supposed to be doing and all that. So when you stop doing those things, which is what a fast is, then you lift the soul up above the body. You shut the soul, you shut the body down, because it's got needs. And when you do that, the soul rises up. So here go an example of that, what David was talking about right here. Daniel chapter 9. So when you understand what's going on with Daniel, Jeremiah prophesied they was going to Babylon into captivity for 70 years. And after the 70 years, they was coming out. So when you get to Daniel 9, they had 70 years. So he told them, you're going to go to Babylon, you're going to serve Nebuchadnezzar, his son and his grandson. That was going to complete the 70 years. Well, now Darius is on the throne. Nebuchadnezzar dead, his grandson and his son and his grandson dead. So we in chapter 9 of Daniel. It says, in the first year of Darius, see that? The prophecy already came to pass that Jeremiah told them about the 7 years. In the first year of Darius, the son of Ahasuerus, the Medes and Persians, right? The seed of the Medes, which was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans. Now in verse 2, in the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by books. So he looking back in the book of Jeremiah, understood by books the number of years, wherefore the Lord came to Jeremiah the prophet, that he would accomplish 70 years in the desolation of Jerusalem. Then verse 3, and I set my face unto the Lord, and I seek him by prayer, supplication, fasting, sackcloth and ashes. So we doing the same thing with David. He's just saying. And that's what all our forefathers did. When they went to seek, when they sought the Lord, they shut the body down. When the soul comes up, lift the soul up. That's what David means when he says he lift the soul, he lift the soul up. Right? And so when you understand that these angels are watchers, they looking at that. And they see that, they, like he said, Gabriel told him, today, the first day that you did it, I came, but I was held up by the prince of Persia and the prince of Greece. They held him up, but he saw what Daniel had did the first day, but it took him 21 days to get to him. Okay. Anybody got any comments on that? Okay, yeah. So that's what he's talking about when he says he lifting up his soul. Okay. So with that being said, I'll go to some current events. I'll just play them and then we'll see what get some feedback. Okay.
Mr. Free Speech Absolutist, total conman. Is Elon Musk a net positive or a net negative for humanity? Massive negative. Massive negative. AI, that could be the end of humanity, as he said a few years ago. And when he says, oh, but it's inevitable, it's not inevitable at all. They could make a choice not to allow them to go up. How come a federal agency of the United States government can give permission to do that? You've got people like Ray Kurzweil, this so-called futurist executive at Google, saying that by 2030, AI will be connected to the human mind, or that process will be underway. And once that connection is made, AI will do more and more of human thinking until human thinking, as we know it, is basically negligible. So you're not going to think, I'm going to challenge the system. You're not going to think, hey, this is a scam. When it's not you saying it, it's what AI is telling you to think. That's what's coming. And the source, the structure of this control, this AI control, is through something that Ray Kurzweil calls the cloud, an electromagnetic, technologically generated electromagnetic field, ultimately hitting every inch of the planet, to which humans will be connected, not through brain chips of the kind that Elon Musk is talking about. He's just selling the concept. The idea is that that cloud will be our connection to AI. One of the activities that was considered essential was putting up 5G towers everywhere. And so you've got these 5G towers. I mean, on the old council estate where I used to live, where my brother still lives, there's two massive bloody 5G towers quite close to each other in the middle of this estate. But you can only, of course, go so far with towers. You can create this cloud, this electromagnetic field in a town or in a city, but not in the middle of the desert or in some, outward place. So how do you do it? Well, what you do is you fire the field from low orbit satellites. And that's exactly what is going on. Elon Musk, Mr. Free Speech Absolutist, total conman, he's leading the alternative media down the garden path. It's pathetic. He's putting up, he's the leader through SpaceX. He's putting up, and on his Twitter X, he's bragging about it all the time, thousands and thousands of satellites, low orbit satellites, to beam this stuff at the planet. And Amazon is in there as well, but SpaceX is the leader. And SpaceX has got permission from the Federal Communications Commission in America for 12,000 of these satellites, and there's applications in which are starting now to come online for another 30,000, and that won't be the end either. And so there's an electromagnetic brain that's being created to cover every inch of the planet to which humanity will be connected to. This is happening. And I don't care if people are like, oh, that's too far. I couldn't care less. Believe what you like. It's happening.
Is Elon Musk a net positive or a net negative for humanity?
Massive negative. Massive negative. Apart from having "I'm conning you" on his forehead, I don't know how more blatant it could be. See, he's putting up the satellites that are making the cloud possible. So when he says that AI could be the end of humanity, as he said a few years ago, and when he says, oh, but it's inevitable, it's not inevitable at all. Those satellites are going up because they're being given permission by the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC in America. That's why they're going up. They could make a choice not to allow them to go up, and then AI wouldn't be inevitable. And
when you go rogue,
he released what he called these Twitter files to show, oh, look, all the control that was going on before me. So then you say to people, so the deep state, as you call it, which is just an expression of the code, had control of Twitter and who could be on it and what they could say. Oh, yeah, absolutely they did, yeah. So that's what they want in it. They want that control. Oh, yeah, they want that control, yeah. So why did they sell it to Musk then? Why would they do that? Why would BlackRock and State Street, Fidelity Investments and JP Morgan, etc., why would they let him have it? Because there's an ulterior motive. And if you notice the and you know, I've done a lot of research on this, and others are starting to do a lot of research on it as well. These tech oligarchs, these multi-billionaire tech oligarchs, not these people like Peter Thiel, are moving in, Musk's old mate, are moving in on the alternative media. They're funding it. They're putting their people in there to give the right message. And they are seeking to dilute opposition to what they want, this AI control agenda, by hijacking the opposition. So if you look at this scenario, suddenly I noticed, because those posts of Musk on Twitter X, every single one is strategic. It's not by accident. It's not all just the odd comment. They are calculated. So I noticed in the last few weeks that suddenly Elon Musk is posting about the dangers of what's happening on the United States southern border. He hadn't before, but now he suddenly is many times. That the border's open and people are coming in and we've got to stop it. Now that is a point of concern of the alternative media, and has been for years and years and years. I've been writing about it and warning about it and what the plan was for decades. So what's happened is people have gone, oh, Elon's seen it now. Oh, Elon's great. Look, he's putting out the border. So where's this going? Well, where it's going is a virtual border, a border controlled by AI.
Okay. Any comments on that? Okay, yeah. So this guy, I was watching a video last night, and I saw where, and it dawned on me because I had watched the movie. I don't know if anybody know about it. The man that fell to earth. Anybody saw that? Yeah. So anyway, you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. And this guy was he was an alien, and he was disguised as a human. But when he fell to the earth, he ended up once he got acclimated to this environment and all that, he ended up becoming a big time uh, tech person. Was a black dude, and so the first thing I thought about, because they saying that people starting to say that uh, Elon Musk is not a human, and like I said, all you do is look at him, and you can see, and then those the same way the guy on the movie was acting, he had these quirky like ways because he wasn't really from here. He's the same way. And another guy that I see doing that too is the guy that I think I can't think of Zuckerberg. Just look at him. You don't. Something about him ain't right. He don't look right. Look like a robot. So something to think about. Go check it out and look at it. But yeah. So I was looking at that movie and I said, and it just dawned on me that um, like all of a sudden, Elon Musk and he took the world stage as a lot of people saying that he's actually the president. He dictated everything that Donald Trump is doing everything he telling him to do. He's actually the president, but the people wouldn't have the American people would never voted for him. So they used Trump's popularity and put him in the White House, but he's not actually in charge. They're saying that Elon Musk is in charge. Anybody heard that? Some
Shalom, yes, sir. I've been seeing that on the internet too. I believe that's true.
Right. Yeah, it is. I was saying it just dawned on me. I saw a picture last night. They were showing how the guy was showing how some of the features on Elon Musk is not, don't look right. And so I was like, it triggered in my head. I remember the movie, and like I said, in order to understand what I'm saying, you got to watch that movie. It's called, like I said, The Man That Fell to Earth. It was a season series. I think they only had one season so far. They only had one season. It came out last year. Okay, go to the next video. Okay.
It's the third winter of Russia's war in Ukraine and possibly the most decisive one. Usually, winters bring snow and frost, but this time it's also bringing Donald Trump. He has promised to end the fighting on day one in office. So Russia is punching hard. Overnight, they launched a massive air attack. Some 90 missiles and 100 drones were fired. Military and industrial sites across the country were targeted in Kharkiv, in Donetsk, in Odessa, in Dnipro. It was basically a nationwide attack by Russia. People reported air raid sirens across major cities in Ukraine. They bunkered in subways and shelters as Russian missiles flew overhead. And damages? Ukraine says 79 out of the 91 missiles were shot down, so over 35 of the 100 drones. The remaining hit Ukraine's energy infrastructure. We're mainly talking about power plants. They were hit. If these plants go offline, Ukraine will not have electricity, and that too as winter sets in. No home heating, no lighting, no warm water. The idea behind these strikes is to break Ukraine's morale. In fact, some power plants have reported damages from these Russian strikes. It has left 1 million Ukrainians without power. That's almost 3% of their population. It is close to 0 degrees Celsius in Ukraine today. Imagine 1 million people without power in such cold. And it will only get worse from here, the cold at least. Now, this strategy is not new. Russia did the same during previous winters as well. They targeted Ukraine's power plants. But this time, two things are different. One, this winter leads to Donald Trump's inauguration. And two, Russia has a firm upper hand. Let's take a closer look at these factors. Trump has nominated a special envoy for Russia and Ukraine. He's a retired general named Keith Kellogg. And what's his stance on the war? A bit more nuanced than Donald Trump. Kellogg says aid should be conditional on talks, meaning if Ukraine wants weapons, they must join the peace talks. Now let's assume that they do, but Russia refuses. Then what happens? Then Kellogg says the US should give aid to Ukraine. So it's a slightly different position from Donald Trump's, but chances are Putin will take it. Anything other than Joe Biden's unconditional support is a win for Russia. Which brings us to the second factor. Russia is making huge gains on the ground, which is very different from last year. In 2023, Russia captured just 460 square kilometers of Ukrainian land, 460. It was virtually a stalemate. And this year, Russia has captured around 2,700 square kilometers, 2,700 square kilometers. This is 6 times more than last year. Now put these two factors together. Russia capturing more land and Trump returning to the White House. It tells you why Joe Biden and Ukraine are getting desperate. Earlier this month, Biden took a major step. He allowed Ukraine to use American missiles to strike inside Russia. Zelensky was clearly pumped about it. He launched a missile volley almost immediately. But Vladimir Putin one-upped him. He fired an intermediate-range ballistic missile at Ukraine, a nuclear-capable weapon, and he is not done yet. Putin says the next target could be Ukraine's decision-making centers.
As has already been said, we will respond to the ongoing strikes on Russian territory by Western-made long-range missiles, including by possibly continuing to test the Oshnik in combat conditions, as was done on November 21st. At present, the Ministry of Defense and the General Staff of the Russian Army are selecting targets to hit on Ukrainian territory. These could be military facilities, defense industry enterprises, or decision-making centers in Kiev.
Basically, government buildings. That's what Russians will target, he says. Most of them are located in the capital, Kiev. Now, Russia has not attacked such buildings yet in this war, but Putin says they could be targeted going forward. It's a clear warning against escalation. But will Zelensky listen to him? He's evidently worried about the missile attacks because Ukraine's air defenses are weak. They can shoot down drones and short-range projectiles, but ballistic missiles, Ukraine is helpless against them.
Okay, so we're looking at the same thing that
Mark Ruda and I discussed the available response capabilities, the necessary strengthening of Ukraine's air defense.
so the same thing we're looking at in Ukraine coming here. A lot of people not it's not registering, but what you're looking at happen to Ukraine is coming here eventually. Any comments on that? Okay. Got some need to know information right here. Play that. I was well, last night on the men's line, we was talking about this. I keep hearing a lot of people, Hebrew Christians and Muslims, and they keep saying Trump this and Trump that. But when you understand scripture, like I said, Israel, the Most High looks down from heaven, and he says Israel is the apple of his eye. But he sees them as one man because Jacob, he came down, Jacob wrestled with him, he changed Jacob's name to Israel. So one man. That's how you see the nation of Israel as one man. Well, Esau got 12 sons. Like I said, so we see Esau as one man. So Esau, it's a group of a council that got together, concocted the New Testament. They was in Alexandria, Egypt. So everything you read that's written in red is not JC, it's this Esau. He the one concocted that. Like I said, it's not one man. It's a nation of men. Esau, they the one concocted that. Everything we dealing with when it comes to all these lies, Esau behind it. But the scriptures tell us that when they was born, they were wrestling. One, Jacob grabbed a hold of Esau's leg. So, and the meaning of that was Esau is the end of this world. He's in control right now. Jacob is the beginning of the world to come. So, when they keep saying Trump this and Trump, no, it ain't Trump. Trump a nut bucket. Esau is behind that, behind all this. They get using Trump, like I said. So, and then that ain't nothing new because of, look at JFK and Lyndon Johnson. They didn't want, they never would have, the populace never would have voted for Lyndon Johnson. So they used Lyndon Johnson riding off of the back of a charismatic guy like JFK. He rolled him into the White House once he got in there. They got rid of JFK, and they wanted in there that's diabolical was Lyndon Johnson. There ain't nothing new under the sun. They've been doing this back with Andrew Jackson, same way. The people wouldn't have voted for him. He's a redneck, but they used somebody else to ride him in, get him in there. And then once they got him in there, they got rid of the other person. Okay, so Cheney and Bush, they used Bush to ride. They wanted Cheney in there calling all the shots, so they used George W. Bush, the Bush name, and rolled Cheney into the White House. But let's look at this. So Edomites doing this. Like I said, it's gonna come more and more into play whenever I go into the lesson about mind control. Okay, let's look at this right quick. Let me get it. Yeah, this is what Trump did to solidify what I'm saying. I played it the other night, but I'm gonna play it again because it's relevant.
Have you heard about real?
Okay, let me get it.
Controls 95% of your thoughts and decisions. It doesn't.
Okay, I'm tripping. I'm on the wrong thing. Okay, let me get it. Here you go. Here you go.
The most pro-Israel cabinet in the history of the United States. I've investigated his funders. It's not looking good. Donald Trump will repeat the mantra, America first, America first, America first. But when you look down his list of funders, it seems like it might just be Israel first.
Right.
Donald Trump selected Pete Hegseth as his Secretary of Defense.
So when you go back and look at their history, right, you're going to see that they said they got this thing called undersecretaries. When the president come in the White House, he picked his cabinet, but each one of those cabinet members got an undersecretary. There's his assistant, second in charge under whether it's the transportation or housing. Each one of those people, cabinet members, got a vice under them. Back in the day, up until this point, always been pretty much Edomites. That's who was really controlling everything. They would never get up and actually be the cabinet member because of everybody know who they are all over the world. They know, they see the sign, they know what the name, and then they just their appearance. They know they're Edomites, like Fauci. All you gotta do is look at him, you see Edomite. But now today with Trump, they coming out with these Edomites is actually the cabinet.
Called for Trump to bomb
exactly
Iranian
the
energy
secretary
and nuclear facilities.
What better time than
right
now
here
to say, we're starting the clock.
It's
You've got
Edomite.
a week. You've got X amount of time before we start taking out your energy production facilities. We take out key infrastructure.
Pretty much all
the
these cabinet members
we take
Edomites.
out nuclear development. We take out popular capabilities.
And here Hegseth is advocating for Israel replacing Al-Aqsa with what he calls the Third Temple.
1948 was a miracle.
Check
1967
out what he
was
say.
a miracle. 2017, the declaration of Jerusalem as the capital was a miracle. And there's no reason why the miracle of the reestablishment of the temple on the Temple Mount is not possible.
And what
So just go to what I was saying about, if you're not paying attention, they got the skies over Israel lit up. They're using that blue beam wholesale right now. They're showing angels coming up out in the sky. They're showing JC in the clouds, crosses, all this. And people over in America, they're not even really zeroed in on that. But they got the skies over Israel lit up. All this is being tied together because they got something more up their sleeve. Like he just said, the temple can be built. No, that's your objective, is to build a temple. All of a sudden you finna create this situation as if this the end of the world and this was the Most High prophesied temple gonna be built and all that. That's what they're doing.
about Trump's ambassador to Israel,
Check it out.
Mike Huckabee. He has publicly claimed there is no occupation of the West Bank, and
fanatic.
he refuses to refer to the West Bank as anything but Judea and Samaria.
There is no such thing as a West Bank. It's Judea and Samaria.
All them fanatics.
There's no such thing as a settlement. They're communities, they're neighborhoods, they're cities. There's no such thing as an occupation.
Trump has also selected Elise Stefanik as his U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. She's someone who has gone on record as saying that nothing Israel ever does could cause the United States to remove funding from it.
There is no excuse for an American president to block aid to Israel. No excuse, full stop. That's why I'm proud to have sponsored or backed every measure to aid Israel that has come before the United States Congress. Every single.
Yeah, so they got something humongous right around the corner, because you can see how they lining up. Everything they're doing.
One.
They say follow the money, so I did. To start with, Sheldon Adelson bankrolled Donald Trump's first election as president of the United States. Sheldon Adelson very publicly supported the use of nuclear weapons against Iran.
You pick up your cell phone and you call somewhere in Nebraska and you say, okay, let it go. So there's an atomic weapon goes over ballistic missiles in the middle of the desert that doesn't hurt a soul. Maybe a couple of rattlesnakes and scorpions or whatever. And then you say, see, the next one is in the middle of Tehran.
His request from Trump prior to the election was that if Trump arrived in the White House, he would recognize occupied Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights of Syria as part of Israel. Trump did that.
I gave them Golan Heights. I gave them the Abraham Accords. I recognized the capital of Israel and opened the embassy in Jerusalem. And most importantly,
he ain't in charge. He's doing everything they want. Like I said, go back to Alexandria, Egypt. You had all them Edomites in Alexandria, Egypt, right? They the ones burnt the library down, and they the ones came up with the New Testament. So everything you doing when you reading in red, these Edomites got you doing it.
importantly of all, I terminated the Iran nuclear deal. I was there 4 years, gave them billions and billions of dollars. I was the best friend Israel ever had.
Today, one of Trump's largest funders, giving him $100 million, is the widow of Sheldon Adelson, Miriam Adelson.
He promised to recognize Jerusalem and to move the embassy to Jerusalem.
You think it's a coincidence? Miriam, she got a name Miriam.
Promise kept. He promised to withdraw from Iran nuclear deal. Promise kept. And Golan Heights, that was a big gift. He promised Golan Heights and he recognized.
Adelson requested from Trump prior to this election that once he was in the White House, he would recognize, quote unquote, Israeli sovereignty over the West Bank. Donald Trump has given the signal that he will support this move to annex the West Bank and establish Israeli sovereignty over it. Smotrich, the Israeli finance minister, has come out and stated very clearly that 2025 will be the year of sovereignty for Israel over Judea and Samaria, the word that he uses to refer to the West Bank.
אני מתכוון בעזרת השם להוביל בהמשך החלטת ממשלה שקובעת שממשלת ישראל תפעל מול הנשיא החדש מול הממשל החדש, של הנשיא טראמפ, מול הקהילה הבינלאומית, להחלת הריבונות הישראלית ביהודה ושומרון, להכרה אמריקאית ובינלאומית.
When we look at not only Miriam Adelson as one of his key funders, we also see other individuals who are likely to be pushing Trump in the same direction. Isaac Perlmutter and his wife have also backrolled Donald Trump's presidential campaign. Isaac Perlmutter is a former Israeli soldier and the former chair of Marvel Entertainment. The same family foundation of the Perlmutters that funded Donald Trump's ascent to the presidency also funds the Friends of the IDF and illegal Israeli settlements in the West Bank. Isaac Perlmutter's wife was on Donald Trump's inauguration committee last time he was elected president. Another important source of funds in this presidential campaign has been the company Uline, headed by Richard Uline, which contributed over $10 million to the Trump campaign. Richard Uline has a history of funding organizations which docked Palestinian and pro-Palestinian students in the United States. The companies backed by Uline put the pictures and personal details of pro-Palestinian students on the side of trucks they sought to get these students expelled from their university. Another key funder of Donald Trump's presidential campaign was the Andreessen Horowitz investment fund. Now, Andreessen Horowitz is so deeply integrated with the Israeli occupation that it funds and partially owns several key Israeli intelligence companies, like TOCA, which was founded by the former head of Israeli intelligence and former Prime Minister Ehud Barak. TOCA claims that it is a one-stop hacking shop, which can hack not only smartphones, but also smart technology within homes and fridges of individuals which governments may want to know more about. Another company partially owned by Andreessen Horowitz is Wiz, founded by Asaf Rappaport, a former high-ranking officer from Unit 8200, the military intelligence signals section of the Israeli occupation forces. So here is an organization that is directly invested in Israeli intelligence companies, also funding Donald Trump at the same time. How could we not mention Elon Musk? His company, SpaceX, donated to the Donald Trump presidential campaign almost $120 million. Now, what is Elon Musk's relationship with Israel? What many do not know is that his company, SpaceX, launched several satellites for Israeli company ImageSat International. Now, ImageSat International is not only led by reserves in the Israeli military and former employees of Israel's largest company, Elbit Systems, but it is a key source for Israeli Unit 9900, which is the Visual Intelligence Unit. ImageSat International and the spy satellites which have been launched for it by Elon Musk.
That's what they're doing in Israel. Images. Blue Beam, Project Blue Beam. Okay.
Will be essential to all of its bombing campaigns. In fact, historically, it's known that ImageSat International have been a key part of Israel's thousands of bombing sorties over Syria. The fact that this was not seen as a conflict of interest for Elon Musk to, at the same time, be running X, formerly known as Twitter, but also launching spy satellites to assist in Israel's bombing campaigns is quite indicative of a wider rot within our media and political classes. Another key funder of Trump is Primerica Distribution, which contributed $5 million to his campaign. Now, Primerica Distribution also funds the key Israel lobby group, the ADL, which has been found to have infiltrated many political groups and spied on pro-Palestinian and Palestinian Americans. Trump also received another $5 million from the investment firm Elliott Management, headed by Paul E. Singer, a donor to the Friends of the IDF, the Birthright Foundation, and the Israel Independence Fund. But more interestingly than that, Paul E. Singer is the founder of the Startup Nation Central organization. This is an organization which has siphoned former employees of the Israeli military and particularly Israel's Unit 8200 into big tech companies in order to combat BDS and also direct jobs within the tech sector into Israel. Trump's
Okay. Any comments on that? So you can see, like I said, they circling the wagons, and then if you understand a lot of the information I've been putting out up until this point, they duplicate everything. Like I say, they got you thinking that they're using David, the actual Messiah, and they got you thinking JC the Messiah, and take you back to Psalms and says that the real Messiah is prophesying about JC. When the whole time David is the Messiah, and when he's talking in the Psalms, talking about himself. But the average person been brainwashed to believe that they can go to the Psalms and those Psalms are prophecies about JC, but that's a lie from the pits of hell. So my reasoning for saying that is to say this: we always see Israel getting the bind, and the Israel Redeemer always show up and deliver them, like with Hezekiah, the story of Hezekiah and the Syrians. And when they was in Egypt, he came, delivered them. 13 other different captivities they was in at the last minute, when it seems as though Israel was through. Our Redeemer, not JC, but the Lord of hosts showed up and delivered them. Well, that's what they setting up right now. With all these companies they were talking about, all these tech companies and all the satellites they got in the sky, they got right now, as we look, Israel like it's gonna be doomed. They got the ICC putting laws on Netanyahu. They got showing that Hezbollah bombing them. Everything looking like Israel the end. So they finna come and go and with this dramatic rescue Israel. That's what's gonna usher in the temple. That's what they setting up. Like I said, keep watching. Like I said, you'll see exactly. It's gonna play out exactly like that. That's what we're looking at them doing. Everything, all of a sudden, with all the control they've been had for the last 2,500 years, now all of a sudden, all this stuff happening to them. It's staged. They want to make it look like, just like they did in the, what that was, 1969. Because I think 67. The war in 1967 when Egypt was knocking them off. All of a sudden, out of the blue, you let them tell the story. The Lord rescued them. They ended up winning the war, and they did this over and over again. And this is the big one right here, because they got you thinking, they got the world thinking that these angels are appearing in the skies in Israel. Jesus appearing in the skies. All these horns, shofars going off in Israel. Like I said, I don't know if anybody paying attention to that, but Google it. You'll see. They got apparitions all over the place. They got angels bumping into each other in the skies over Israel right now. So whatever they finna do, it's gonna be done. It's tied to Trump, right? Tied to this Project 2025. Any comments? Okay, let me see some of this right here. I'm looking at. Okay. Okay, I can go for that. Right, okay. Okay, yeah, so yeah, that is making sense. Okay, right. So somebody put on here 6-day war. Yeah, 6-day war. When you go back and you look at that and study it, they did the same thing back then. It made it look like they was in a pickle all of a sudden, then all of a sudden they get delivered. They want to put some kind of spiritual context on it to make it look like they actually the real people. And this the biggest trick right here of all, what they content of right now. To try to call themselves, like I said, they want to rule the world for 1,000 years from Jerusalem. And that's what they setting up. They want to make it look like, just like they did in 1948. They want you to think that prophecy, that was a prophecy from the scriptures that Israel returned. Like they would say, they was regathered from the whole, from across the world, and they back in the land of Israel. That's the biggest. We know that's a lie, and so they doing the same thing now with this concoction they concocting right now to fool the whole world. That's what all this. That's what Elon Musk, all these satellites, all the stuff you see going on now. These Edomites, with all the money that they poured it up, they concocting this scenario right here. Right? It's actually a do or die situation. Because when it's foiled, then that's when the whole world gonna find out exactly who we are, and then that's when everything go to falling in place as far as prophecy, true prophecy. Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody got anything they want to inject into that? We'll open it up for Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything they heard on this channel during the week, or anything they saw, or you want to talk about before we go into lesson?
Shalom, Brother Leonard. Could you talk about the haughty spirit? You was kind of talking about it last night, but I was listening to an old lesson you did on the haughty spirit.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I just wanted to get some knowledge on that from you.
Right. Well, it's like I was saying before with the where that comes from is when you look at the Pharaoh, right? Let's do a comparison contrast. David had set Uriah up and killed him, sent him on the front line, got him killed, and he got his wife. He wanted Bathsheba, so he ended up getting him. So he thought he had got away with it. He had Bathsheba, Uriah was dead, but the Lord sent Nathan and told him, we know what you did. You killed the man. You had all these wives. I didn't put you up in this temple. You got a big old house made of gold and all this, and you killed this man for his wife. And so David immediately, when he realized that that the Lord had called him out, he fell to the ground and started repenting. But the Pharaoh, the Lord of hosts, came there and told Moses to tell him, let his people go. Well, his actions at first, you can kind of understand, being that he was the Pharaoh, but after the Lord of hosts came, turned the water into blood, and showed him all these powers he had, that haughty spirit caused his heart to be hardened. And he ended up getting knocked off, killed. And you see that haughty spirit in all the men you see Nebuchadnezzar had. So eventually got him killed. Cyrus, Og. It's actually when you go back to I was talking about angelic beings mixing with humans. Those are a lot of the characteristics. Like I said, one of them is gigantism, but I can't say that word. Gigantism, where their bones grow. That's why they're so tall. Then another one was homosexuality. Not knowing, got a man body, but you a woman characteristics. All that's coming from when the humans mix with the angels. And that haughty spirit is another one, part of that characteristics. Those are we as Israelites acquired those things from them. Like I said, you had the Greeks and the Romans. That's part of their culture. The transgender, homosexuality, all that's in their DNA. But then after we got cast out and over here and amongst them, now we doing it, but we assuming, we saying that, oh, we born with that. No, you pick that up. You pick them characteristics up from them. That's what the Creator, that's what the Lord of Hosts told Moses. We was gonna be cast out over here, and we was gonna pick their ways up. That's who they are. But we acting it out from because we've been over here, we acting those things out and acquiring those things, starting to do them. And like I said, number one thing on the list is that haughty, rebellious spirit. Okay? What the Most High say do, they gonna do the opposite. Okay? And challenging. The challenge, like he had to know, he gave us laws, he gave us the Tanakh. Well, they want a book. So they concocted the New Testament. The Most High created a man, then they don't have the ability to create a man, so they came and duplicated, came in and went into women to get and bounced off of the Most High's creation. All that's part of being haughty and contentious. You just won't submit to what the Most High says do and do it. They want to do the opposite, contrary, or outdo him, or to challenge his creation, like what they're doing now with harps and all this stuff in outer space. They want to challenge the Most High's creation and still accepting it and conforming to it. All that's part of a haughty spirit. That make any sense?
Shalom. Shalom, yes, sir. It makes plenty sense. And another question I got, Brother Leonard, is because you said we took on that spirit. Would you say like Pan-Africanists have that spirit as far as like because like none of my friends and stuff like that, kids that we all went to black colleges, right, they don't believe in JC. Like none of us, that hasn't been a problem in a long time. But the problem with a lot of them is they think they're gonna save themselves. Because I even got a lot of friends that have land, right? And they're building up, little communities and things like that. Right. And they think that, just that they're gonna be able to just live like that on their land forever, and ain't got to worry about Trump and all that kind of stuff. And they not worried about the Lord of Hosts. Exactly. So is that the same thing?
Well, when you go back and understand, go back to the creation, and he said he made a man and a woman on the 6th day, right?
Yes, sir.
That's Ham. That's Ham. That's the African, right?
Right.
Then 8th day he got Adam. He made Adam, and then he saw that Adam was alone. He made a woman. That's the Hebrew that eventually became the Hebrew Israelite. And then Cain, the serpent slept with Eve. He got Cain. Cain, then Cain killed his brother Abel. He turned Cain white. That's what the mark is. He turned him white. So there go your 3 men right there. You got all the other races from that. So the mind of the Pan-Africanism come out of the mind of the African, not the Israelite. So you say, what are you talking about? look at the Most High that showed us, and we know in the scriptures that he made Adam, and Adam was the rule of everything. We see all even up in the heavens. But the Africans say the black woman is God. You see what I'm
True.
saying?
Yes, sir.
And the same thing, know thyself. Your power is within you. That's Pan-Africanism.
Right.
So they didn't sold that Pan-Africanism into the Israelite. Because he don't know who he is. Most High said he didn't took away our understanding between Esau and the other nations. They didn't took away our understanding of who we are. So anything that come along that sound good, we grab hold to it.
Right.
That's what that is. They didn't jump to that. Pan-Africanism is ain't no different than that in Judaism, right?
Right.
Judaism come out of the mind of Esau. Pan-Africanism come out of the mind of the African. And we didn't grab hold to it because we don't know who we are. And then to go along with what you said about the communities, they actually the Most High spoke prophecy. They're actually going along with prophecy. They don't know it. You getting in these you getting into these communities and coming together. That's just the beginning of what the Most High already prophesied.
Right.
Eventually, it's going to eventually come a time that you're going to have to deal with the fact that who you are as an Israelite. But it's over with. Pan-Africanism ain't got nothing to do with the Israelite. Right.
Shalom.
Right.
Yes, sir. And Brother Leonard, I got that. You heard of that Xander Van Bible Dictionary?
Yeah, I got one.
Yes, sir. You know, in there it says that that Ham became the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negroes.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's one of the biggest tricks. Next to the fact that what they got us thinking JC is the Messiah when it's David. That's right up there with that. It's a song. I don't know if you ever heard it. But it's a song that's a Hebrew song that this lady sang about I am Shem. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, on this channel, yes, sir.
Yeah. She's saying that she's Shem. She in Africa, but she's Shem. She's not no Israelite. She's not no African. And that's what happened to us when they came and got us. They came and got us and brought us over here out of Africa. So they calling us Africans, but not understanding our story that we was in the land of Israel and we sinned against our God and he ran us into Africa. So when they came to get us, they don't know our story. They don't know our plight. So they calling us Africans. So that's the same thing right there. It's all about digging and understanding that that who we are and recouping our the history of who we really are. Right. So people know that I always say this all the time. People know that they know about the big mass migration that happened when the Israelites left out of Egypt, and then you can even come over here. When we got here, we was all in the southern countries after the Civil War. There was a mass migration to the west and to the north, right? Well, it's the same thing with in 70 AD. I mean, in 143 BC, it was a mass migration out of the land of Israel into Africa. So they know about the other two. They know about that one, but they don't want to talk about that one because that one is going to expose who's the real Israelites and who's not the real Israelites.
Yes, sir.
Right. When that many people moving, we see all these Mexicans, these mass migration from these Mexicans. You think that story ain't gonna be told thousands of years from now? If we still here, same thing with all that. They know. They know when all that happened, and they know the people that was over there in Negro land where they came from, but they excluding telling the truth about it because it's going to expose everything they got going on. Yeah. Ain't that something?
Yes, sir. Makes sense.
Right. Anybody else got anything? Okay. So here we go. Let me go into this. Like I was saying before, you hear me always talking about how yeah, let me play this for you. I'm tripping. Okay, yeah. This kind of got a little Christianity stuff in it, but it's got a lot of truth in it too. But let me play it.
Hi, Spencer Raskoff, co-founder and chair of Picasso, coming to you from Harvard.
Okay.
Trump says about religion in America.
This Bible is a reminder that the biggest thing we have to bring back America and to make America great again is our religion. Religion is so important. It's so missing, but it's going to come back, and it's going to come back strong, just like our country is going to come back strong.
That was a clip from
So this is a prime example of what I was talking about, how because we've been brainwashed, we don't see it. So Most High prophesied about Nebuchadnezzar. He prophesied about Cyrus and all that. So after Nebuchadnezzar came, burned down the temple and all that, took the Israelites to Babylon and all that. Okay, now wouldn't that sound crazy if he came back later and say, we're gonna bring back Babylon? Does that make any sense?
No, sir.
He come after all he done, the Most High prophesied, he comes back again and say he gonna bring back Babylon. He gonna back up and rewind history and do it again. So that's what these nutbuckets, that's their objective. After the prophecy and the history of what the Most High did in America, bringing us here and all that, now they want to go back they want to backtrack and redo it again. They want to rewind the tape. Imagine how crazy that is. And the mind that actually believe that could happen. That's what Project 25 is all about. That's what Trump is all about. That's what these Edomites all about. Redoing history, rewinding history, the Most High prophecies. That's what they're trying to do. Relive a prophecy. Okay.
A video Donald Trump posted to his Truth Social account back in March. And now that he has been elected president of the United States, his words are more relevant than ever. Because Bible prophecy does indicate that religion will come back strong in the United States, but it may not be how you expect. The United States is symbolized in Revelation chapter 13, verse 11, stating that I saw another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon. A beast in Bible prophecy symbolizes a political.
So I got a video on this. You know, I don't want to go in too far on it, but I was showing you how a 400-year prophecy, how they didn't hoodwink that. They took that prophecy out of the Old Testament and used it as fast forwarded and got it over in the New Testament like it ain't happened yet. But when the Most High was talking to Abraham, that was soon to come. He said, you're gonna die and go into your people, right? And then your offspring is gonna come hither again. So Abraham was in the land of Canaan. So he's telling you, they're gonna go, you're gonna die, they're gonna go into captivity in Egypt, and they're gonna come back to the land of Canaan. And then he's even more specific. He said, because the time of the Amorites is not yet fulfilled. Like I said, ain't no Amorites here. So when did the Amorites exist? When Joshua and Moses and them came out of Egypt. They came out, that's who the Most High used the Israelites to bring judgment on the time of the Israelites to an end. They brought the Israelites to an end right here. They pull this out of the Old Testament too. When they talk about it's over in Revelations when a beast's gonna come and another beast gonna come after, and where that beast with that's like a lamb with the horn, that's JC. But we can't see that because they didn't took the scriptures and the prophecies and put them somewhere else. But if you put the scriptures and the prophecy back where they go, you're gonna see that the beast is the Roman Empire, the fourth beast, and then JC is the one that's came with the horn. That's like a lamb with a horn. It's a religious implication. That's him. Then he said a name, his name is 666, all that. That's him. That's JC. But it's out of context. They took the prophecy and sit it somewhere else. You can't see that it's actually JC and the Roman Empire and all that. The four beasts. All that stuff is coming out of Daniel. Daniel was like, look how long Isaiah is, the book of Isaiah and the book of Jeremiah. Daniel was just as long. Like I said before, you go to the Apocrypha and the story of Bel and the dragon. That's Daniel. That's out of the book of Daniel. The story with Susanna. That's out of the book of Daniel. They didn't chop the book of Daniel up. And the prophecy right here that they got that you reading in Revelations is watered down from actually what the Most High was telling Daniel. It's watered down, and so when you actually start, you get that in your mind and you start reading it, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Like I said, Daniel is the one that freed Susanna in the book of Susanna, and Daniel is the one that told the king about the people was going into the temple in a secret door and eating all the food up that they was offering to the god Mullah. All that's Daniel. All that's out of the book of Daniel. And I showed you how with Esther. Ain't no book of Esther. It's the Mordecai. But because of what they done in the Old Testament, what they done in the New Testament, they had to go back and make it look like these things was happening in the New Old Testament. So they went back and separated part of the story of Mordecai and then put it on, say Esther, the book of Esther. Okay, but actually the story is, it tells you when you read it that it's the book of Mordecai. But that's complicated to somebody that just started dealing with this. Okay.
Power. For example, speaking of another beast power, Daniel chapter 7, verse 23 tells us, the fourth beast shall be a fourth kingdom on the earth, which shall be different.
So that's the Roman Empire. It ain't four beasts. You know, 5. So he's telling you right here, when you read this, it's
from all
Rome.
Other kingdoms. A kingdom is a political power. And notice that the beast in Revelation chapter 13 is described as lamb-like because it has 2 horns like a lamb. A lamb is a symbol for Jesus in the Bible. John chapter 1 verse 29 tells us the next day.
You think it's a coincidence that all of a sudden he came in the 4th beast? It wasn't no such ideology or nothing like that about no JC or no man dying for the world until the 4th beast. So when you go look at Revelation, you can see it's actually talking about him himself. But because of the way they did it, you can't see that that's him. So let me play a little more. Any comments?
John saw Jesus coming toward him and said, behold, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world. So this political power, Revelation chapter 13 is talking about, has a Christ-like appearance. And that corresponds to the United States.
Just like in the garden. He said, the lady talking to the serpent, he said the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. And he said unto the woman, God has said, you shall not eat of the tree. He the tree. You got 2 trees. Tree of knowledge of good and evil. That's Michael. Then you got the tree the tree of knowledge of good and evil, that's him. The serpent, the tree of life is Michael. So when he come and talk to the woman, God, he says, God doeth know that when you eat thereof, it's him. They was told not to engage with him, not to deal with him. It's the same thing right here.
States, because America was founded on Christian values, as Donald Trump himself admits.
Our founding fathers did a tremendous thing when they built America on Judeo-Christian values. Now that foundation is under attack, perhaps as never before.
Many of the founding fathers, while holding diverse personal beliefs, were influenced by Christian teachings. Values like equality, liberty, and justice align with biblical principles. For instance, the belief that all people are created equal reflects Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, which says, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male
so, see that right there?
And female, he created them."
Let me rewind that. I want you to hear that. Watch this.
Since the belief that all people are created equal reflects...
Okay, I got a question. Is there, we all created equal?
No, sir.
Okay, see, that's a lot now, but look where he goes to justify that.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, which says, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them." This indicates that...
Right. Created a man and a woman, not no whole bunch of folks. He created a man and a woman. Okay, that's way out of context. So anyway, you want to watch that? It's called Mark of the Beast. It's closer than you think. Like I said, we already know it's been here. Mark of the Beast been here when they concocted JC in the New Testament. That's the mark of the beast. When they took the Most High's word and throw, like Psalms 89 says, they took David and put it and turned his sword down to the ground and diluted him, and took JC and made JC the Messiah, and they made him the Redeemer and made him all that and got rid of our Redeemer and our Messiah. That's the mark of the beast. So now we following this system. Got it done away with the Sabbath. Got Sunday, people worshiping on Sunday. So like I said before, when he was talking to Abraham, he told this prophecy, he talking to Abraham for a reason, because when Abraham passed, the prophecy came into play. Same with this. All this stuff you read in the Old Testament, the New Testament, in Revelations, it came to pass soon after Daniel passed away. The Greeks came, and then the four beasts came into play. That's when you have to rightly divide what they're saying in Revelations is tied to when the four beasts came on the scene. After Antiochus came and the four beasts came on the scene. What happened in Alexandria when they changed the writings from Hebrew to Greek and made the Septuagint. And then from there, that's how they came with all this, everything we're dealing with today. And that's how you got to look at it. Okay. So, like I said, if you want to watch that, video, it's the Mark of the Beast. It's closer than you think. And the the channel is the Bible Flock Book. You want to listen to it. So anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go to the topic. You hear me always talking about. They always say that JC got 18 missing years. 12 years old, he came into the temple. Story they gave us in the New Testament. He was 12 years old, and then he disappeared. Last time they saw him, he was in the temple at 12 years old, teaching old men about the scriptures, right? And so we know what's up with that, because of Horace did the same thing. At 12 years old, Horace turned water into wine. Horace is in the temples in Memphis and Nuke and all those places teaching the older men the script. The same thing Horace did. That's why JC doing it. So anyway, So from that time, last time they saw him, he was 12 years old. Then the next time we saw him, he was 30 years old. So it's 18 missing years, which they don't seem to talk. They don't want to talk about. But when you understand, like I said, who JC is, you know where he was at. He was in India, up in the monastery. He's just Cleopatra's son. He was in the monastery for 18 years. He came back to Jerusalem because that's where his half brother and sister was at. Mark Antony had hooked up with Cleopatra after Julius Caesar died. And she had 2 kids for him, so he had half brother and sister in Jerusalem. So he disappeared. She sent them, when Augustus came to kill him, she sent them away in the monastery. He was raised by monks. That's the real Jesus right there, right? So anyway, 18 missing years is what I want to focus on. So let's check it out. I'm telling you about how we brainwashed from the time we born to the time we get 18 years old, get a diploma, high school diploma. That's the job. Been, a nut job been done on you. So here we go. This is how you do it.
Avoiding is nothing more than a carefully constructed. Your thoughts aren't your own. Every belief you cling to, every decision you make, might not have been yours to begin with. From the moment you took your first breath,
right,
you entered their game.
Right.
A game where your mind isn't your own.
Exactly.
Where your very consciousness is being shaped by forces so powerful. They've been perfecting their methods for generations.
Okay.
And here's the chilling truth. Your subconscious mind isn't just influenced. It's owned, programmed, controlled. But what if I told you that the reality you're living in, the goals you're chasing, the fears you're avoiding, is nothing more than a carefully constructed illusion, not by you, but by powerful systems working behind the scenes?
The taxes on a house like that are going to be about $6,000 a year. If
Part of subconscious programming, embedding ideas, limits, and desires into your mind without you even realizing it. And you couldn't help it. You were just a child to begin with. And honestly, this video might not stay up for long. The information you're about to learn is something they have spent generations keeping hidden. Because once you see it, you can't see it. And once you understand how it works, you can finally break free. Some of what I'm about to share might sound impossible at first, but stick with me, because I'll show you the scientific evidence behind every claim. You'll see exactly how this system works, why it was created, and most importantly, how to reclaim control of your own mind. Think of this as your red pill moment, a chance to see behind the curtain of your own consciousness. But remember, knowledge this powerful comes with a choice. You can close this video now and go back to living in their programmed reality. Or you can stay with me for the next few minutes and discover just how deep this rabbit hole goes. See, the subconscious controls 95% of your thoughts and decisions. It doesn't question, doesn't analyze. It just absorbs like a sponge. It's the part of your brain that keeps you scrolling through your phone at 2 a.m., buying things you don't need, and believing ideas you've never questioned.
Exactly.
And here's the chilling part. They, the governments, corporations, media, know this, and they've mastered the art of controlling it. And it's not just your big decisions, where you work, what you vote for, who you trust. It's in the micro moments, the notifications you check, the headlines you skim, the ads you glance at for half a second. These tiny fragments of control accumulate day by day like drops of water carving stone until you're living someone else's vision of reality. But this isn't just influence, it's domination. Every time they steal a sliver of your valuable attention, they're rewriting the blueprint of who you are. You didn't choose this. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. You don't have to live this way anymore. Today, you'll learn the tools to take back control, to see the strings, to wake up from their illusion. This is more than a wake-up call. It's your first step toward reclaiming your reality. Think back to your earliest memories. Before you could tie your shoes, before you could write your name, your mind was already being coded. But it wasn't just random programming. It was a script passed down through generations, designed to keep you in a spiritual and mental prison. Think about this. Why do they say children are like sponges? It's not just about learning. Between ages 0 and 7, your brain operates in theta wave dominance, the same state that makes it possible for hypnotists to rewrite memories or make people believe they're living in an entirely different time and place. It's a state where your subconscious doesn't just listen, it obeys. You weren't just learning, you were being programmed. Every fairy tale you heard, every cartoon you watched, every lullaby you sang, they weren't just stories, they were programming sequences. Stay within the lines. Don't question authority. Fear the unknown. These weren't just lessons, they were chains, wrapping around your subconscious mind, layer by layer. But here's where it gets darker. Those phrases weren't innocent. They were echoes of a larger system designed to keep you compliant. Governments, corporations, and the media knew that if they could control the way your parents thought, they could control you too, without ever meeting you. Think about it. Why do advertisements target children with sugary cereals and toys? It's not because kids have purchasing power, it's because their minds are the most impressionable. If they hook you young, you'll crave the products and ideals they sell for life. And it wasn't just ads. Think about it. How many times were you told, be realistic? Translated, stay small, don't aim too high, or don't talk back. Meaning obey authority even when it feels wrong. Just like follow the rules, meaning to conform, even if it kills your creativity. These aren't just family sayings. They're the building blocks of a system that thrives on obedience. Consider this.
The beast system.
Here's how to advertise on TV in 5 easy steps. Step 1,
Shows that by age 7, your core beliefs about money, success, and self-worth are already set. 7 years old. By then, the groundwork of your reality, the limits you think are unchangeable, was already laid down. Here's an even darker thought. Have you ever wondered why fairy tales teach fear and submission? Witches in forests, danger beyond the village, rewards for good behavior. They weren't just stories, they were early blueprints, hinting you to stay where it's safe, to trust the authority figure, and don't stray too far. The more you think about it, the more you'll realize that your childhood wasn't just learning, it was conditioning.
Exactly.
And this conditioning doesn't fade. Your subconscious mind clings to these ideas like gospel. It's why as an adult you might find yourself hesitating to take risks, doubting your worth, or chasing goals that don't even feel like yours. It's why you feel stuck in a life that feels more like a script than a choice. But here's the truth. This isn't your fault. It never was. Your subconscious doesn't question. It simply absorbs. And from the moment you were born, it was flooded with rules, fears, and limits designed to keep you in line. See, Stanford research shows that 90% of your childhood beliefs stay with you for life, unless you actively rewrite them. And they, governments, corporations, media, know this. That's why they aim to shape your mind when you're young. Because if they can control your beliefs, they don't need to control your actions. You'll do it for them. But here's the glimmer of hope. While your subconscious may have been programmed, it isn't permanent. It can be rewritten. Now that you know how the programming started, let's talk about how it continues every single day. Because what they did to you as a child wasn't the end. It was just the foundation. The real work happens now, in ways so subtle you almost never notice. So imagine this. You're scrolling through your phone on a Monday evening after work. A headline flashes saying, "Breaking economic crisis looms." You immediately feel anxiety, but then an ad pops up to invest in gold to protect your future. In just seconds, your emotions were hijacked. Fear puts your brain in survival mode, making you more receptive to their suggestions. They create the fear and then sell you the solution. This isn't random. It's precision-engineered manipulation, and it happens thousands of times a day. Every app you use, every news article you skim, every notification you receive, they're all pieces of a...
Yeah, a prime example of that is in Revelation, when JC tell when they tell you you don't do what. Let me find it. Right. And that's what a lot of the truth coming out now, and people won't they deal with it because they've been programming, you know. So let's look at it right quick in the book of Revelation. Okay, and it says, yeah, I think it's in chapter 22. It says, okay. Yeah, it says, first chapter, Revelation 22:18. For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man should add unto these things, God shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take away from the word of the book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city and from the things which are written in this book. See that? So right here, you've been programmed. The Christian, you bring in some truth, like I say, like Jubilees or Jasher. They ain't trying to hear it because they've been programmed right here. You know, it's something foreign. You bring it to them. It ain't got nothing to do with the scriptures, and so they ain't trying to hear it. You crazy because you dealing with you know what I'm saying. You done broke free from all that. You dealing with it. You dealing with. You understand that what these people have done. But they caught up and brainwashed. They've been sealed. They're not gonna go outside of that King James. Okay. Clear a little more of this. You know.
Puzzle designed to control your attention. And your attention isn't just a commodity. It's the leash that ties you to their system.
Exactly.
But let's break this down.
Beast system.
See, fear is their favorite tool, and headlines are their weapon of choice. Fear shuts down your critical thinking, putting your subconscious in charge, desperately searching for safety. That's when the narrative slips in, unnoticed, but effective. Then come the ads. Have you ever wondered why your feed seems to know what you're thinking about? Algorithms don't just predict your desires, they create them. They plant ideas in your mind so subtly that you believe they're your own, nudging you toward products, lifestyles, and beliefs without even realizing it. Even something as small as a notification isn't harmless. It's a psychological trigger tapping directly into your brain's reward system.
Finally found it. I've been searching for the perfect head shape.
Okay. Any comments on that? Or you want to watch that? It's how they control your subconscious mind. They being Esau, right? These Edomites. Powers that be. Anybody got any questions, comments on anything? Anything they want to talk about? Share before we go? Yeah, I tried to send this link to Brother Ben, Joseph Ben. I sent the link, but it ain't going through. I don't know if I got it wrote down wrong. You know, call me back and give it to me right so I can make sure I got it. I don't know what's up. I tried to send it, it didn't go. Okay. Anybody got any questions? Comments before we go? Okay. So with that being said, I want to say shalom, shalom, and another shalom. We'll be back on at 6 to 7 for our evening Shabbat class, close out the Sabbath. Shalom.